We have panel of 3 people, as shown here. Mr. Simon Cheong from ENGIE ITS, Mr. Cheong from Roxtec, and Suppan Sarah, our good friend here, from Iron Mountain, correct? I cannot say wrongly. Can we welcome the moderator and the panelists?
So that's a quick introduction of Sarah, and he has been 10 years, more than 10 years DC experience. I'm pretty sure Casey also about more than 10 years experience, but myself is only 3 months. That's why I sit here to ask questions, right? So there's a few key questions that we need to address so that the audience here might need to know about the physical securities and futures data center proving. So the first one is that, as we all know, that operations people for data centers, right, they all focus more on the internal physical securities. But how about the external securities like power, waters, and fibers? Yeah. So how do we closely monitor those external utilities, and how do we prevent the environmental damage?
I think good morning to all. I think it's a great question. I mean, when we are all talking only about the internal securities, which we are having 6 layers inside the data center, you can't go in, all those things. But it's a great question to talk about external securities. If you come back, as I said, Singapore, yes, we have a dual power supply. But the dual power supply from the 2 different stations, the 2 different stations power also come via a duct underground cable. Then it come into the data center from A side as well as B side, or route 1 and route 2. Either way, because we need a diverse path. Actually, even Power Grid also, they're having their pilot cable to monitor all those things, because previously I work for Power Grid. So we do pilot wire testing. That means that if there is 22 kV or 66 or 230, 400 kV cable pass through, there is a pilot cable. They call it as a pilot. The pilot cable also, it was there. If there is anything fault happen, the pilot also can monitor that. And they are also having their own security systems monitoring from the, it has to be covered fully in case if there is any flooded, it cannot impact all those things. So same thing for the fiber also. Fiber also, we have 2 connectivity, especially for, Iron Mountain. We have 2 diverse paths to Equinix, which our customers are benefiting from there. That means, yeah, hi, sorry, good morning. So we are having the 2 diverse paths also. It has to be, yes, we have the SLA with the connectivity provider, even though they are also monitoring all those things. And our internal IMDC connectivity team also, we have a network connectivity team. They will monitor also. So there is a lot of monitoring systems on the external side to impact anything from flood or any natural disaster, anything. So that is the main reason also we have the diverse path for all our data centers.
Hi, sorry for that. I went to the center call just now. Yeah. Just to introduce myself, my name is Casey Ng. I'm the Roxtec Country Development Manager that based in KL. And nice meeting all of you.
So my next question is maybe to you. All right. So now we are focused more on the internal physical securities, right? So we all know that from guards to gates to cameras, some to the extent to drones for the security lines of defense. So what else, or what is the changes recent years for the best practice for the physical securities?
From my personal point of view, I can see that the security is not only about the drone and camera and the guards. It's also about the automation and also intelligent monitoring, as well as the resilience. Resilience means is how fast the data center operation can be resumed the operation during any kind of the system downtime or any kind of the disaster scenario. So this is also have to be in line with the future-proof data center that allowing the operation to be remain as usual, even doing any kind of the things that happen. Yeah.
I think added to that, there is now the video analytics as well as the IT intrusion detection system. So even we are using the video analytics, so that can reduce our manpower. So maybe everyone is talking about AI, all those things. That is the reason we are sitting here as a data center. So we are also using our video analytics to understand, and we have the ITDS system. If anyone just cross over anything, then the detection system will send us the email or messages to the alarm to us. So these are the new technologies which they are using into the DC.
which means that some of the securities requires more on the AI kind of integrations.
I think now they started. I mean, we started. I mean, from Iron Mountain sides, most of the data center they started this.
So beside AI, is there any more that can enhance the securities? Like we all know there's another one coming up is the quantum technologies, which is the QKD, where quantum technology is much more unhackable kind of securities. So would it these data center facility peoples will consider AI plus the quantum technologies?
I think it's, and now it's in the early stage. We need to check with that our security and compliance department also because we are all working from the US side. But I heard from all these things, but we haven't started until that.
But at the Rockstep perspective, we are also seeing that increasing the trend from the customers and data center operator to ask about how we going to monitors and managing the operation and also the access, even to the extent for Rockstep for the cable and pipe sealing solution. So we do have like the digital software to can help the customer to manage all the access to avoid any kind of the unauthorized access through the openings for the cable and pipe opening. Yeah.
My third question is for future-proof data centers. What else besides liquid cooling? There's a lot of talk about liquid cooling wipes, all the redundant powers, right? Beside that, what else that can have certain things for future-proof data centers?
I think liquid cooling is the best one now. You can see a lot of booths on the liquid cooling. Because previously when we start as a data center, we all manage 3 kilowatt per rack, then 5, 8, 10. Now everyone is talking more than 30, 50, now to 100, 125. So I mean, it's very difficult to cool uh, that kind of high density server racks by air cooling. We don't have that kind of air. So definitely they will go with the liquid cooling. But definitely they need air cooling also as a part, something like 70% of liquid cooling and 30% of air cooling because they need that air cooling for the network parts, network switches, all those things. Then when you compare to the, after the liquid cooling, now everyone is talking about 800 volt DC. That means from in the server rack itself, they have a bus bar with the 800, then we can tap it from there itself. So maybe this can help us for the future-proof data centers for the high-density server racks. Because when you think about the high-density server racks and the cooling, we have to think about the power availability also. Because without power, if we provide cooling and without connectivity, there will be no use. So we have to think about the power. How are we going to manage that to that 100 kilowatt DC, I mean server rack or 125 kilowatt server rack. So we have to think about maybe that could be the next phase which we are now talking and discussing.
Yeah, beside than the liquid cooling, I think one of the very key area for the future proofing data center also is about the agility and also the flexibility of the system. So often the time that even during our Rockstack internal conference, we were talking about how to help customer in a modular skill and also scalable and also able to add and remove the cables or adding on the cables, any kind of the system update without any disturbance to the existing operation. That also how we can see a future proofing data center.
So since you are touching more on the modular, right? So is prefab modular DC is one of the thing for the future-proof as well?
Yeah, I think so. It's one of the proof for the future proofing, and that's the reason that is easily to deploy and use, and also to be fast operating. That's the reason that we can see one of the trend in the future proofing data center.
I think someone now, we are, last time is 500 kilowatt, now I think they can go up to 2 megawatt with the containerized solutions. So even Iron Mountain earlier stage from, we bought over from IO itself, we have that containerized solutions until 500 megawatt inside the container, but inside the data center. So definitely for the edge people, definitely they will go with that. But for the hyperscalers, the capacity is growing higher and higher by 10 megawatt, 50, 100, 200 megawatt.
So I think my last question is that how do we enhance the core infrastructures of buildings, right, to prevent those environmental damage like earthquake recently happened in Singapore, Johor, right? So how do we enhance these core infrastructures of the building for the data centers?
I think the building infrastructure is the core and shell part is the first line of the defense. It's very crucial, and also all the entry point to the building infrastructure. For Roxtec perspective, is all the cable and pipe entry that have to be resilient and also protected against the fire, water, gas, and any kind of the seismic activity that remain the operation even during a disaster scenario like what happened in Johor. This is very crucial, and this is also what from Rockstep we are seeing the trend and the demand from the data center operator.
I mean, from our part, even the consultant itself, we are discussing with them on the seismic zone, which we are taking around 5.5. So we are doing the design for the data center itself in that stage. So at least it won't impact if there is any earthquake or anything. Then for the flooding as well as the natural environmental, it has to be as a highly elevated infrastructure, so that if there is any flooded, it won't impact our data center. Then, fire protection, fire prevention, all those things, bomba is, I mean, we have to strictly follow the regulations of the bomba. So these are all the major things, because when we do the site selection itself, it's very important. We have to think very careful when you do the site. That can solve most of your problem on the environmental conditions. So when you select the site, you go to the site and see whether really is there any flooding or any seismic zone or any other environmental impact, pollution, all those things. So when you do the site selection properly, definitely you can solve 50% of the new data center issues.
Okay, so
Although you say it's the last question from you, I think I have one more question because you talk about the built environment, the shell and core, the equipment, the ingress protection, and so forth. How about the operational aspect, the people that have to secure a facility after it is built? From the service provider side, from the operator side, could you share some of your insights? Thank you.
Actually, I am from operations. I just now only took over the design and construction. I've been in operations for more than 15 years. Not only data center, I did lot of critical infrastructure, commercial building. The major challenge whenever we get a new DC or new building is the project handover to the operations. Because when operations took over, definitely they go and find lot of things, which difficulties on the maintenance. The main thing which I am focusing after I took over this design and construction, I have to hand over a prompt data center without any hurdle to the operations. I think today morning I talked to some of the partners also. They also asked me, why suddenly you change over from operations to head of design? What makes? I mean, this is also one of the reasons. We don't want the operations people to be hurdled. And when you do the integration with something like, normally we cannot do the data center fully. If I build 100 megawatt, I cannot build the 100 megawatt immediately. I can build the core and cell, but I have to install the MEP, all those things phase by phase. But when you do the phase, definitely the phase one operations will be there. So we have to really very coordinate with the operation team. We don't want to impact anything to the operations. Yes, our design, our construction as well as project team, our intention is to hand over the things ASAP. But we have to think about the operations parts also. We don't want to give any impact to the operations because they are managing the customers. They have to answer to all the incidents and all the SLA part, all those things. So this is how we are planning to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, from my perspective, I'm seeing as a three phases. So at the first phases, from the design perspective, we need to ensure the system is to able to remain all the protection against the environment hazard. Then second phases is we need to make sure is remain the operational reliability and managing the access when come to any kind of the cable and pipe sealing point. Then the third phases is about the future upgrade. So how will be the operation able to add on the cables and add on any new system without any system downtime or create any disturbance to the existing operation? That will be how we see from the operation side. Yeah.
so just to any questions from the audience? Anyone? So, yeah. So thanks, Sarah and Casey, for a good sharing. So that's all.
Thank you,
very
thank
much.
you.
Thank you, everyone.